Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer from Perennial. This is Perennial Abraxas. You guys can skip ahead to the review. But anyway, this is actually New Year's Eve, a couple hours from midnight. And I actually went to Total Wine to pick up some beer, and I walked by Broome County. I was like, yeah, that's a great way to celebrate New Year's Eve. And then I found out they have Abraxas. So if you guys aren't familiar with this beer, this is their version of a Mexican-style Imperial Stout. Hunahpu is definitely harder to get because that's a brewery-only beer. Mexican Cake's probably a little bit more accessible, which is crazy that I don't get it in my market, even though Charleston, South Carolina is way closer than St. Louis, Missouri. I've actually never seen this in market, so that's actually pretty cool. And actually on the shelf, they had the extra vanilla version of this beer. And this was not cheap, by the way. I think I want to say I was able to find it in New York for like $20, but now this was like on retail for like 26. So New Year's Eve splurge. I'm staying home anyway. And then they also had a cool one, which I wanted to try, but like I just wanted to review the OG. But the cool one was Bombraxas, which is a collaboration with Prairie. So if you guys are familiar, Prairie makes a Prairie Bomb, which is their take on Mexican Imperial Stout, and then they like sort of combine the ingredients and collab it and all that. But I wanted to just review Perennial Abraxas. So this was a pretty high beer back when I got into craft beer and was doing bottle shares and trades and stuff. And the barrel aged Abraxas was one of the hardest beers to find, and honestly one of the best beers I've had in my entire life. So this is just a regular Abraxas. This is Imperial Stout with ancho chilies, coconuts, cinnamon, and vanilla. And so again, the vanilla version is just extra vanilla, which I don't know why you want to do that to this beer. And I didn't realize this beer has lactose in it now. I don't know if it had it before. I don't remember it being on the label, but let's dig into beer. So pouring it out. I mean, that's super black. Like it looks like 1050 or Broome County, like some of the darkest beers I've ever poured in my life. Like just like you pour it out and you see that little stream, and you can only see so much darkness in the glass. But when you pour it out and it's such a thinner stream or thinner, like volume of beer to look through with the light, it looks pitch black. And this is obviously pitch black. And then it coats the glass a little bit. Get a nice kind of dark tan head on the dark brown or medium brown head on that. So yeah, dark brown head on that. Oh yeah. So rich with the ancho chili aroma. Reminds me a little bit of Xocoveza, which is the last Mexican style stout that I reviewed. I get a little bit of kind of vanilla cake sweetness to it, even though it's not barrel aged. So it almost seems barrel aged because there's this vanilla kind of like cake character. A little bit of spicy cinnamon in here. Really plays well with the ancho chilies. A little bit of rose chocolate. Cheers. Wow. Okay. So first off, I don't remember this beer being that thick. It comes off a little bit pastry-ish. A little bit. Still obviously a Mexican style Imperial Stout, but it just seems to have like a weight and heft and lactose-y sweetness to it that I don't remember from this beer. Unfortunately, I suspect that might be recipe adjustment. Newer market, everybody who wants something thick, 3 C's, all that. It just seems big. This is a big beer, 10.5%, but it just seems like richer. Like it seems like they really amplified the body and the vanilla and the sweetness to this beer. For me, I like a little bit more cut. That's sort of why I like the I think Mexican. I want to say Mexican Cake. It's either Mexican Cake or this were probably my favorite out of 3, because it really goes to like Mexican Cake, Mexican Cake, Westbrook Mexican Cake, Perennial Abraxas, and Hunahpu were like Cigar City Hunahpu were like the big guys for the Mexican style Imperial Stouts when I was getting into beer. Up front, a little bit of cinnamon bite, some amount of chili, sweet milk chocolate, a little bit of vanilla sweetness. It almost has an impression of like barrel aging because of that vanilla sweetness, that big mouthfeel, but doesn't have the booze behind it. So unfortunately, like that works when you barrel age beer, but it has like the vanilla character and desserty characteristics, but you get a little bit like that cut from the bourbon. You don't get that here. And unfortunately, you also don't get the sharpness that I prefer from the cinnamon and chili. I mean, I do have it a little bit cold. Not cold. Like it's probably like a couple degrees warm, colder than I prefer. But even then, it might end up a little too cloying if I warm it up more. So it needs more balance. Wow. And this literally just dropped. Like the shelf that I saw was like brand new. Excuse me. And they must have just got these bottles because like this stuff doesn't sit around. Like well, the Total Wine and all, the Total Wine in a suburb of Orlando probably, but for a $26 bottle, I think it's 27. And then the variants that I didn't buy were like 33, 34, and I'm not spending a few more dollars to review a beer that I've never had. I just want to revisit the OG, right? So what can I tell you about this beer? It's very unfortunate, but they really sort of killed this beer. It needs more sharpness to it. It needs more chili. It needs more cinnamon. And I suspect the addition of lactose really destroyed this guy. Or maybe just more vanilla. I don't know what it is, but it has this marshmallowy kind of like pastry stout thing to it that I don't want. Like, I'm okay with it being higher ABV. I'm okay with it being thick and high bodied and having residual sweetness. But now it's like, this tastes more like a pastry stout. Like, as I drink it more and as it warms up, see, I was worried, and it's doing that thing. The aromatics and the impression at first were like, oh yeah, this has all these flavors, but now it's just like a thick boy. Like, whoa, it's a sludgy boy. Very chocolatey. So now the cacao nibs show up more, and vanilla shows up more, and so it's like a vanilla imperial stout, which I don't want. I wanted a chili beer. I want some heat. I want some oomph. I want some cinnamon. Oh, unfortunately what they did to this guy. It's not a bad beer by any sense, but, oh, man, it's unfortunate. Then again, I haven't had this beer in a while, but I promise you this beer did not taste like I would not have liked this beer as much before if I, all right, anyway, I think Amelia might have moved the camera. It's okay. It is good beer, but it's very disappointing to not have Abraxas here. What does this beer in the glass sort of taste like? It seems like it has a little bit of adjunct, a little bit of chocolate added to it, high residual sweetness, some vanilla added. But man, boy, as you wait and wait, it has more of this marshmallow kind of flavor to it, huh? Yeah, I didn't come in here for a pastry stout. I wanted a chili stout. If I had to rate this as a Abraxas, I would give it a terrible rating. But it's still fine beer. It's actually really tasty. It's thick, drinkable, a little too sweet, lacking in the adjuncts. Jeez, what a shame. What a shame. So this is a hard one. Don't be touching Amelia. Thank you. Jesus, let me think. Let's just be mean to it. I don't care. Like, this is not what's advertised on the label. It still tastes fine, but it's still very sweet and cloying. This is a cloying beer. You wait, like that vanilla marshmallow thing just like takes over. And I've had some tasty imperial stouts, tasty pastry stouts before, but sometimes it is reliant on adjuncts to really get you there, and the adjuncts aren't here to show up. So it's really just like a vanilla pastry stout, which I don't know about you guys, but I'm not about that. Like usually, like something like almost always, like Angry Cherry. Like there's interesting ingredients like Rocky Road, this or dessert reminders. Here, I don't get really dessert reminders. I just get a sweet imperial stout. Very sweet imperial stout. It's very thick. With like hints of these like adjuncts. Wow, what a shame. Okay. I'm gonna preface this. If I walked into a brewery and I got this beer and they didn't advertise it with all these weird ingredients, advertise the chili stout and all this crazy stuff, and just advertise it, this is our really tasty, rich, sweet pastry stout, and maybe I don't even know what adjuncts are in there. It's good. It's like a 90 something. Let's go with the 90, like a A minus, like actually pretty good. Let's go with like a 95 or something like that. But I'm pissed off. I spent good money on this guy to really have a delicious New Year's Eve experience. I'm not going to get it. So, 4 actual Abraxas tasting like this, no way, Jose, boys. This beer gets an 80. 83. 83. This is an 83. That's a terrible rating. Or not, on my channel, it's a bad rating. Let's go with 84. They screwed the pooch on this one. What do they call it? No, that does not taste like what it should. Lack of cinnamon flavor, chili flavor, just tons of vanilla, tons of sweetness. Lactose does not. Who the hell decided they need lactose in this beer? What the hell? It does not need that. 84. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Later.